Hello, neighbor. How you doing? This is Novels and Bits podcast, and this is Chizoba Katie speaking. We have been doing From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. I'm enjoyed. Thank you so much. I mean, this story has been receiving a lot of love. Thank you so much for tuning in again today, telling someone about it, sharing your review and your comments. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. All right, now continue where we left off. Now, Poppy has left Macedonia because it's clear that her life is endangered there because of the dissenters, the people that support the Dark One supporters. So, part of her travel crew is her current bodyguard Hawke and Kieran, whom she recognizes his name based on, oh, I've heard this guy's name before that night at Red Pearl. And then some other guards, that she is and not really familiar with. Those are part of the people that are meant to travel with her, guard her, and guide her to the capital. It so happens that where they eventually have to spend the night is on the outskirts of the Blood Forest. Whether it's outskirts or inskirts, whatever way, sharp Blood Forest is Blood Forest. And this is the domain of the Cravens, where they stay very well. And she is thinking that it's a joke that they have to rest there, but they have to stay there. That's where they're staying for the night. You get. And this Blood Forest is colder than outside of it. Inside it is colder than outside. No matter the thick blankets or the gloves or everything Poppy is wearing, she is cold and she can't sleep. She keeps just, fidgeting on the floor. Don't like this, don't like this. And they can't turn on any fire so that they won't attract any creatures of the forest. So they have to sleep without fire, even though it's so cold. The 4 guards are asleep currently, while 4 guards are currently watching. Now, Hawke joins her. He lies behind her and tells her that he's here to provide warmth. She protests this, calls it inappropriate. He now tells her, well, the only other option is someone else to take my position because anyhow, somebody has to stay with you to provide you warmth. And he reasons with her. He has to reason with her so that she can see the logic in what he's doing. And he also knows of her nightmares. So in case she does fall asleep and she is having the nightmares, so that she doesn't scream and attract things to them. So his warmth is helping her, really, really. But she still can't sleep because she's worried about a lot. Her thoughts are so noisy. Now he crosses her into a conversation, and Poppy ends up revealing that she's actually not looking forward to the ascension, whatever ascension is, and being paired with a man afterwards. Because normally, after you get ascended, the crown, the Queen Ilana and King Chalara would assign you. 2 of you that ascended, they'll pair you up as a couple. So Poppy's not looking forward to that part, that he'll pair her to someone who probably will be repulsed by her scars. Because in this kingdom of solace, beauty is revered. The ascended are flawless. And Poppy is not flawless. She has scars, right? And Poppy is now telling him how her parents had one in a million kind of love. Her father was a firstborn son. He was wealthy, but he wasn't chosen. Her mom was a lady in wait when they met. It was accidental. That is, her father's father, her grandfather, was close to King Jalara. So when her father went to the castle with him once, her father saw her mother. Supposedly it was love at first sight. Poppy is now telling Hawke, I know that sounds silly, but I believe it. It happens, at least for some. Hawke agrees, and something about his tone reminds her that he's been in love before. Because, he's mentioned it to her before back at Macedonia. So he's been in love before. And just her remembering, oh, this person has actually even experienced what I'm talking about. It burns her chest, like whatever this emotion is, I don't want to put a name on it. Hawke is actually frightened. That's what he admits to her, by the secrecy around the ritual of the ascension. And he's now saying it is so similar to what the Craven do, but what is done to stop aging, stop sickness, for what has to be an eternity in the eyes of a mortal? Poppy's stomach shakes with unease. She now says, it's the gods, their blessing. They make themselves sane during the ascension. To even look upon them changes you, she explains. But her words, they sound uncomfortably hollow, as though she doesn't even believe what she's saying. The point is, they circle back again that the reason Poppy was at the Red Pearl in the first place, that where both of them met face to face, is she wanted to feel. And is that same trying to feel that caused her to allow him to kiss her under the willow for the same reason. She wanted to feel. You get, she didn't just want to be this closeted person who doesn't know what her future holds. She wanted to control some part of her future. Again, Poppy's still fidgeting. She still can't sleep, even after all this talk and talk and talk. Now, Hawke now promises that he can make her sleep soundly tonight. He starts with caressing her stomach. That's innocent enough. But when his hands now start dipping lower, she's not conscious about the guards. I've read the book, another part of the story that contains Hawke's POV. You get, in this particular story, this first book from Blood and Ash, we only get to see everything from Poppy's POV. But I've read the book from Hawke's POV. And there, he is now thinking that he was actually impressed that her mind is not like, stop this thing, but just, hey, what if others see? You get that kind of thing. Like, she's brave enough to want to go for the experience. And she's just conscious about others seeing. He replies her they can't see. That's why it's too dark for them to see anything. Poppy gives in because her future won't have him in it anyway, and nobody who makes her feel half of what he makes her feel might probably come into her periphery again. Essentially, what goes on between them right now here on the Blood Forest floor is foreplay for her benefit. Although she is in full clothing, there is no skin to skin touch. He's rubbing her through the cloths, essentially. That's what it is. Like when you see people dry humping dance, or you've heard about it. Personally, I've not seen, but I've heard. So let's put it that way. Now, when it's all over, she finds her release and it enables her to fall into a deep sleep. What actually wakes her up much later is whispers. And the whispers sound like Kieran and Hawke are arguing. And Kieran warns Hawke that he shouldn't forget his task. Now, when Hawke starts approaching her, she feigns sleep. He crouches down and he caresses her cheek. He thanks her for the previous night. And she's not like, I'm supposed to be the one saying so. But he explains, saying, you trusted me last night and we shared a risk. She opens her senses to him as he says this, to sense what he's feeling and feels his confusion mingling with conflict. They get back on the road and reach the center of the Blood Forest. A particular part in that road has a lot of mangrove roots, so they can't even rush that place if they want so that the horses will not get hurt because they're riding on horses. There, a Barrett suddenly shoots out and attacks one of the guards. Another of the guards shoots an arrow at the Barrett and kills it. Suddenly, a horde of Barretts come running. Like, they run past them. And these Barretts are like rats, but they're so big. They're as big as a ball, so they're giant rats. Eek, God, that was so creepy. These things run past them, past the feet of their horses in the opposite direction. So the Barretts are running from something. Suddenly, a thick mist starts swirling underfoot. Suddenly, a craven shoots out, attacks the same guard the Barrett did. That guard made it when the Barretts attacked him. He was able to climb up a tree. But this time around, that guard doesn't make it because the craven gets him so fast. And this craven looks like, it looks thin. It looks really but somehow it still has that speed and energy to just you get. The craven is put down though because the mist is rising and rising. The mist is a sign that the craven is coming. They can't run because the craven will just give chase. They just have to prepare themselves to fight. They come down from their horses and they also need to protect their horses from the craven. Now the craven starts coming out, a lot of them. There's a lot of stabbing and butchering. Now from Hawke's POV, he is seeing Poppy doing all this fighting and he is thinking, he even says it aloud to her, never thought I'd find anything having to do with a craven sexy. He swings, he lops off the head of one craven nearest him. But watching you fight them is incredibly arousing. Oh, Poppy's like, gosh, you're so inappropriate. What is wrong with you? She picks up the broadsword of a fallen guard. And fighting is easier because she no longer has to use a short sword. She has something longer. But the roots of the Blood Forest makes her trip on the floor. She feels panic, even where Hawke is and he sees her fall. He starts, oh my gosh, he's feeling panic too. One of the guards, one particular young guard, Eric, comes to Poppy's rescue. She regains footing. The mist is retreating, meaning that the cravens are lessening. Do you understand? Like the mist is now going down and away. Now Noah, this is the first guard that died. And now Eric, they both had a stomach wound. That's what killed them. Like, so, the thing sliced him over the stomach. But Eric is more concerned that Poppy is safe. He's dying and, that wound looks so painful. He's going to have like a very painful death. So Poppy leans down to him and she now does for him what she couldn't do for Victor. Right now, the cravens are no longer threats, they've been dealt with. But this guy is dying. So Poppy does something for him. She touches him. And with that, she eases his pain, ignoring witnesses. Arik starts breathing better. Hawke, who is watching this thing, is shocked. Like, hold on. Why is this guy talking and laughing with a stomach wound that is very obviously looks very painful, and it is. You can't be laughing and talking normally with an open wound like that. He's even looking peaceful. But this is a violent death because of this wound. What did she do? How did she touch him and he is okay? He's okay in the sense that he's not like his wound is covering up, but he is breathing better. And Eric even starts telling Poppy, hey, we've met before. I recognize you from the Red Pill. At the beginning of the story, Poppy was at the Red Pill, and she played cards with some of the guards. So Eric was one of those guards, and he apparently recognized her, even though she was wearing a mask. It's her eyes that gave her away. He was saying that, yeah, you were not really good at cards. She said, yeah, because I was dealt bad cards that day. That's why she lost. He gets to laugh before he now sees beyond her. And he now says, Mama, as per he's seeing his dead mom in the afterlife or something, he exhales. And the moment he exhales, his chest never comes down. The people now know she has a touch. That's what one of them says. Oh my gosh, the rumors are true. You have the touch. Whatever that means. Now, they ride hard afterwards. They rest briefly at Three Rivers and keep riding hard. That Three Rivers is a place like that. Poppy is sore. She's worried. Everyone has been observing her since what she did for Eric. She wants to talk to Hawke about it, but he shakes his head and tells her not now. They ride through the night and they arrive at New Haven the next day. It's a profitable trading town in better maintenance than Macedonia. Now, we're going to find out much later that the reason why it has much better maintenance is because they are ascended. Apparently, they are not good at maintaining anything. I mean, most of the mortals live in Swallow, you get, and they're not good leaders at all. But this particular place where they came to, Poppy's going to find out much later. The people that will really occupy there, they're not like the ascended. They take better care of things. We shall see how different here is in Poppy's eyes. The reason I just don't want to say too much is so I don't give too much away. If this is like maybe the third book in the series, I would have been giving so much away, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone just yet. Let's keep going. Poppy notices a strange welcome they get, where older people is nodding at Hawke and children allow one another in different houses whooping. So Hawke tells her, oh, they must not get many visitors. They head to the stables and from there, they head to the main house. Poppy's hood is on, like it's over her head. They're only about halfway across the kingdom right now. But for tonight, they would have bed, roof, and four walls. That means the journey should continue the next day. One of the guards that Poppy meets, that the person stands out to her for some reason, is a tall blonde guard with pale blue eyes, Delano. There's also a big man called Elijah. The man seems to find it funny when Hawke requests for shelter for the night. He laughs about it, and the thing now makes Poppy wonder why is he laughing. You understand? Elijah simply tells Hawke and all the others with him that it's plenty room. Several people pour out from the keep. It's called a keep, the castle there or something. And most of them are smiling. Poppy, the first thing she notes there is no ascended here. And that thing that Poppy notices is Hawke hands Poppy over to one woman called Magda. A small, fine woman like that that's pregnant. The ease with which he does that startles her as per, concerned that somebody will know who I am and hurt me. You understand, that kind of thing. Poppy's thinking to herself, Hawke must be so confident that there's no dissenters here. Also, Hawke claimed that he hasn't been to this town often, but how is it that he knows the name of Magda without introductions? You get, so some things are just kind of racing in her head. When Poppy asks Magda later, that what about the ascended here? I'm not seeing any of them. Magda replies that the Lord in residence went hunting with the townsfolk. Now that's highly unusual. The ascended are not known to go hunting or to even raise a finger to do anything. Do you get? Now Poppy eagerly bathes. She spends time in there. She washes her hair too in the tub. Now she's in a blue robe. She sits and waiting. Hawke comes in to check on her. His hair is wet, indicating that he too just had his bath. It's easy for them to get into a banter over how he just knocked and came in without waiting for an answer. What if she didn't want to see him? He told her as if you don't want to, as if that why are you lying? So like, of course you want to see me. Next thing, she dives into the conversation about the gifts. See what I did for Eric Dell. Now, here is private now, so Hawke gives her permission, like, yeah, let's talk about it. She explains how she feels what others feel. Like, initially, I could just feel people's pain, but it's been evolving. So the thing kind of We're going to see from Hawke's POV later that he's wondering, man, how many things have I been, you know, spreading off at her? And she got it, you understand? So basically, Poppy felt Eric's agony, but it's not the worst kind of pain she's felt. Physical pain, she explains to Hawke, is always warm and it's acute. But the mental emotional pain is like bathing in ice on the coldest day. That kind of pain is far worse. She does admit to him that she's used her gift on him before, but only because he's always looking like a caged animal. Also, locking down her gift is not natural for her. The gift wants to be let out. She's also relieved, yes, she's relieved Hawke's pain twice. Now it makes sense to him how a certain time ago he had the best sleep of his life in years. One time like that when they were overlooking the garden and she just brushed her hand against his, and next thing he found out that he slept so good that night. Even another time, you get, without him knowing, she's actually taking his pain away, brought him relief. Hawke misses his brother and his absence pains Hawke. So Poppy tells him I only wanted to help. Poppy admits to Hawke that even wanting to help people with her gift doesn't make her feel like she's worthy. She feels like she's just like everyone else. So that's when Hawke tells her that he's met a lot of people and she's more worthy that day, in the sense that she even tries to help people at all. Now Hawke kisses her forehead, caresses her jaw, and now she's giving him the eyes without realizing she's doing it. He now starts to leave because he tells her that he doesn't deserve how she's looking at him, and she finds courage to ask him to stay. She tells him, you're worthy too. He wants her, something will happen if I stay in this room. Oh, I won't just hold you. Oh, we won't just fall asleep. Oh, something will happen. You're not going to leave this room a maiden. No, he gives her all the warning. She says she knows. He should stay. Now, Poppy too, just like her gift, she too has been evolving. It's happened since the red pill, blooming through her experiences, choices, interactions, and cutting magazine up was cutting off the chains she never chose to wear. Hawke is not the catalyst of her change that led to this moment. It's her, the choices she made for herself, her experiences, her interactions. To her, Hawke is the reward that I dare to find myself. I dare to make something different other than what they asked me to do. You get, and I loved this scene so much in the sense that she's not making this decision about a guy, it's about her. Now she bears herself to him, the whole takes down the rope. There's enough light for in the room for him to see the scars on her arms, her stomach, her thighs, where it looked like nails dug through, bites that didn't turn her craven, proof she's been chosen by the gods. Now Hawke's body too is a proof, a record of everything he'd survived, and the deeper redder scar. There's a deeper redder scar she notices that is just below his hip on his upper thigh. It's proof that he likely had his own nightmares. It looked like a brand of some sort, as if something hot and painful had been pressed into his skin. So he tells her that he got a scar many years ago when he was dumb enough to get caught. So she looks at him like, why you say many years ago? We're not that much different in age. But he's always speaking as though he's lived a lot longer. Now, they get down to the doing. After it, he drops his head to hers, the sensitive space along the side of her throat. She feels his lips against her throbbing pulse. As the roll of his hips slow down, there's a scrape of his teeth there that sends a shiver through her. And then the press of his lips. Take note of what I just said. Scrap of his teeth that sent a shiver through her. Then the press of his lips. Is that a hint of something? She feels tension radiating off him, when he kind of pulls her close so that they can finally sleep. He now tells her, promise me you won't forget this, puppy, that no matter what happens tomorrow, the next day, next week, you won't forget this. Forget that this was real. She promises, even without knowing what's coming next, okay? Sometime before dawn, there's a knock on the door. Hawke dresses partially and answers. Poppy doesn't care that the person on the other side would likely know what they've been up to because it's meant to be Poppy in this room by herself. Now, with Hawke answering the door, whoever answers will know that, whoa, they've been together this night. But Poppy's like, do I care? I don't. That's what she just tells herself, okay? Hawke returns after seeing whoever it was at the door, and he now tells Poppy that he needs to leave to take care of something. Later in the morning, she's dressed to leave as well. Okay, we're going to get back on the road. They're heading to Macedonia, right? And she's had some time to think this through. She doesn't want to go back to being the maiden, to that restricted and stifling life. She doesn't want to ascend. Yes, she feels fear about this decision, but she's also feeling determined. She doesn't necessarily imagine Hawke being part of her future. If he decides to just let us elope or something, they'll be in hiding. And what kind of life is that? And he's a god, you get. But maybe they could make something. That's what she's thinking. She's not thinking, oh, what if I have a different kind of future that looks like ABC, okay? Maybe we could go to a small village, something. She's just thinking, okay? Now, one of the guards, Phillips, appears at the door. He's now convinced that something is not right about this place, that there is no single ascended, that there is something wrong with Hawke and then with Kieran. Even with Kieran, is the first he's even seen the guy. Poppy senses fear coming off Philip, but thinks Philip must be the center that is trying to take her away. She trusts Hawke, so Philip can't be right. Also, Phillips informs Poppy that the two other guards are missing. Poppy senses that if she refuses to agree with Philip's logic, he would drag her out. So she's pretending to go along with him. That I don't know what's getting this guy all worried, but I mean, I know it's nothing because I trust Hawke, right? You know, he can't be a dissenter. He can't be part of those people. Maybe the Kieran person might be, but not Hawke, okay? Poppy wants to find Hawke though. So Philip and Poppy are leaving Poppy's room and they run into Kieran in the hallway. When Philip is close enough to Kieran, he slices at him and Kieran makes a sound similar to the dissenter that attacked Poppy at the garden. That inhumane howl or growl or something. Next thing, before their eyes, Kieran changes into a wolf. Like a very big wolf. Something that Poppy knows is called a wolfen. Is apparently a race that is supposed to be extinct for centuries. So how is it that this guy is turning into that thing, okay? Now, both of them take off running. That's Phillips and Poppy. Pop believes in her that Hawke is not like Kieran, that he's not a woven or anything. And he doesn't know about Kieran. Now, they make it toward the stables where 3 other guards are. They manage to barricade the door, but Kieran is slamming into it. There's a way out the back, but the horses can't get through, so they have to go out on feet. Poppy doesn't want to leave without Hawke. She's now asking them, have you all seen Hawke? He was called away in the middle of the night. The fact that she said this, that Hawke was called away in the middle of the night, means she was with him in the middle of the night. So 3 sets of eyes settled on her, and she's not really caring what they're thinking. She's just asking them, have any of you seen him? This is full exposure, okay? Now Philip is arguing with Poppy that Hawke is a part of that. Suddenly, a shadow creeps out from the back of the van. This person has blue eyes like Kieran's. And not just that, this is the man that killed Rylan. Oh my gosh, Poppy's blood runs hot. Suddenly, the door comes apart. Whoosh! Hawke is standing there. He's standing in front of Kieran. Seeing him, Poppy is relieved. Like, oh my gosh, oh Hawke, look behind you. I know, you know, but before she can even get anything much out, you know, because she's just confused about the whole thing. He is holding a strange-looking bow and arrow that he shoots into Philip's mouth. Next thing, Philip is hanging on a pole behind Poppy. Hawke also knows Ryland's killer, that other person with blue eyes, calls him Jericho. Poppy can't believe what she's seeing. She reaches out to him with her gift, feels nothing. Knows that he must have blocked her out. Now, next in Jericho, that person that killed Ryland, you know, the person that Hawke called Jericho, now asks, please tell me I can kill her. I know exactly what pieces I want to cut up and send back. Now, Hawke now tells the Jericho person, touch her, and you'll lose more than a hand this time. Apparently, that's when Poppy even notices that one hand of that guy is gone. His right hand is gone. I think his left hand, one of them, is only a stump where a hand used to be. The coldness in Hawke's tone chills Poppy to her very soul. Then Hawke now says something. We need her. And his gaze never leaves Poppy. He says, alive. We need her alive. Poppy now demands to know what's going on, but she does. She kind of really does know what's going on. She's surrounded by the Dark Ones, supporters, the dissenters. She played right into Hawke's hands. Poppy recalls Hawke's words from the previous nights. Not that other one he said, though. Like, promise me that no matter what happens, you won't forget this. This is real. You know, she doesn't even remember that one. The words that he said that comes back to her is, you deserve so much more than what awaits you. And that had seemed like so cryptic, like an omen, like a warning. But she assumed he was talking about the ascension. But apparently this is what he was talking about, the betrayal. Hawke clarifies that yes, this is Jericho that killed Rylan. He did that to create opening for a new god, Hawke. Hawke had come to Macedonia to take Poppy. There were many there who paved the way for Hawke because they're actually hoping for the restoration of the kingdom of the Atlanteans. Hawke had known who she was from the Red Pearl. From Hawke's POV, the reason he actually knew it was her from the Red Pearl is, like I said, he came to the capital to get the Maiden. So for a long time, he was just watching her. He was asking about her. Nobody really knew anything about her. but her veil allows that her lips and her jaw is visible. So he noticed that, oh, her lips is plump, it's fine, it looks so kissable, it's red like plum berries, and her jaw has this oval shaped pointed version. She's a very beautiful person apparently. So he noticed those details about her. So the first night he saw her the red pill, in that room, and he just saw the lips and the jaw, he knew it was her. He actually, do you understand? That's how he knew but he did not orchestrate her coming to the red pill or anything. Even that same night when she went home and, he asked her to wait and she left, he even followed after because he's like, oh my gosh, these ascended people will be out and about. You get, because we're going to find out right soon what the ascended really are. You get, so he had to protect her from them. You get, so this is a kind of bit of something to look forward to. All right, now let's keep going. Now, Hawke does claim that he's not behind Victor's death, which is true. He's actually not. The whole Victor thing got out of hand. And we're just going to find out a little more about that. Poppy is vibrating. She is angry. She is backed into a corner and she wants to lash out so bad. Hawke warns others what happens when she gets mad. They should all stand back, stand down. Next thing, she gets his sword, picks up the sword, she's slicing at Jericho, stabs someone else, breaks someone else's nose. She now comes face to face with Hawke and she hesitates. And then the thing he now tells her, that was very naughty. It still turns me on. She screams, like, how can you, jabs elbow at him. That snaps his neck up. He laughs. She tries to get away, gets pulled back by Hawke, and ends up on top of him, punching his ribs, and punching him pains her knuckles. You understand? Hawke catches her by her wrist, yanks her down until, her body is flush against his. Like, their bodies are pressing together. The whole is joined from up to a certain point. And he now tells her, you hit like you're angry at me. Gosh, she's like, oh my gosh, you're such a psycho. Oh my god, you're such a psycho. Meanwhile, for Karen, Delano and Elijah, these are people she's already met. This is a show. They're watching them. They're even doing a commentary. They're like, oh, do you think we should bet our money on Hawke or her? Oh, she's vicious, This is a commentary. This is a show for them. And this is her friggin' losing her mind. And people are saying this as funny. Finally, Poppy sees Hawke for what he is. Because he bars his fangs at her. He doesn't do that intentionally. It's because she hits him hard at a point. So this kind of ouch. And, his mouth really opens up. He's never really smiled much. His smile is mostly like one-sided or the other. And she notices dimples. He has dimples. But now that he opens his mouth wide, that's the first time she's seen his mouth wide open. She now sees fangs. That's one thing he's been very careful to conceal. He has fangs. And she now remembers the feel of them. That's scrapping. When they made love and everything, the scrapping on her throat and stuff. It makes sense right now, his speed. How he would just like rush behind her or, and she's like, yo, why are you so fast? How do you see in the dark, How he always sounds older than he looks. Like, I'm what you're supposed to be. He's Atlantean. The fight goes out of her. She screams she hates him. And then he asks people there to take her to someplace where she can hurt somebody else. So they take her to a cell. And there's a group of people there that are watching this whole thing happening while they're taking her away to the cell. Then someone now asks, are we holding her prisoner? We're keeping her alive? Will we feed and shelter that? Basically, they're calling her that. Not a human being. Someone screams that she needs to die since she's Maiden. They're like, send her head back. Even a small boy. Children are even saying this. They're bloodthirsty. And she can't, this kind of hatred. You people don't even know me. And they are screaming from blood and ash. So this is Poppy's predicament. So we're going to see what happens in the next episode. But we're going to end this here today. And we're going to finish in the next episode. Aren't you excited? Thank you so much for staying out with me. Because I know this episode is a little longer. But I have to do that because I'm releasing once a week. So we're just going to be keeping it 30 minutes once a week for now until I'm done with my internship and I have more time. Okay, that does sound really nice. All right. So thank you so much. See ya.